evening and welcome to ELOSOFUMARTAKES. This is our 350th take, live from the Alec Bradley Lone Star Studio of Azle, Texas. I'm your host, Barry Duplessis, as always, and I'm so proud, so pleased, and so privileged to be with you all tonight. This is going to be a fantastic show, a milestone show worth celebrating tonight. It's going to be short, sweet, to the point, but we've got two amazing, iconic guests with us tonight. But before we get to formal introductions, we do have to thank the people that make this show possible. That, of course, is our sponsors. Tonight's show is brought to you by Drew Estate. Drew Estate has done it once again, introducing some Lanceros to two of their most premium, popular lines. That's right, the new LE Lancero sizes for M81 and S84 from the new Blackened by Drew Estate Cigars. Really exciting for all the fans of the new Blackened M81 and Blackened S84 cigars, a 7x40 Vitola crafted for those who crave precision, complexity, and full throttle flavor. Each Lancero expression will be limited in production and presented in elegant 15-count boxes, making this drop an instant collectible for fans of both the M81's bold Maduro on Maduro profile and the S84's refined yet electrifying Connecticut shade experience. Check out your Drew Diplomat retailer today for the all-new Lanceros from Blackened by Drew Estate. And welcome, everybody. This is our 350th take. If you are tuning into us live on Facebook, like we do broadcast almost every Sunday night, 9:30 Central, 10:30 Eastern, you're tuning into us live because of our courtesy of our friends at Foundation Cigar Company. Nick Melillo was a retailer at the age of 18 years old in his home state of Connecticut, the Calabash Shop. He went on to work for a well-known cigar company, Drew Estate, where he developed some of the most popular blends. In 2015, he started Foundation Cigar Company to create unique and flavorful cigars that would appeal from everyone from the novice to the most experienced smoker. Check out foundationcigars.com today. If you're tuning to us later, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, or wherever you listen to podcasts, you're listening to us courtesy of our good friends at Gran Habano Cigars. Honest, compassionate, great cigars. Be sure you download, subscribe, and review today. Check out Gran Habano today for some of the most amazing cigars on the market. And again, everyone, welcome for our 350th take. Let's welcome in our guests of honor, brought to you by United Cigar. Smoke one today and start living united. We have Mr. George Rico and Pete Johnson. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Peace. What's up, guys?
Welcome. Well, guys, I know I have you guys for a brief period of time, so thanks so much for hopping on for this milestone show. This was almost a year in the making. Wanted to get you two together for a pretty specific reason. Both of you guys have had number one cigars of the year for ELOSOFUMARTAKES. Pete with the most recent in 2024, and George the year before that in 2023. With some pretty awesome cigars. So I just really thank you both for joining so much tonight. So
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. So the only question is between the number one cigar of the year in 2024, this is the Havana number 6 Verocú Blue number 1, and the number one cigar of the year from 2023, the Gran Habano 20th Anniversary El Sueño. Which one should I
love that
guys?
band, by the way, that George made. Love that band.
Thank you.
It is both are incredibly beautiful designs, but yeah, I really love George and I have actually talked about this on a previous show. I love the detail specifically. There's simplicity in it, but there's a lot of accent and detail to the bands of on the 20th anniversary. So But which one am I smoking, guys?
Well, I would have to say I want you to smoke my cigar. You could
smoke
smoke both at the
George's.
same time. You know what? Pete, since we're both on the show and we're actually doing it together,
You should smoke both at the same time.
Both at the same time.
Both at the same time.
One sip.
There we go. Okay. Now we're talking. Okay. All right. Sounds good. I can do that. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Listen, ultimately, I think you're in good company no matter what.
I think so too. Yeah, I would have to agree. So yeah, absolutely. I think I'll light up both.
One, honestly, hurt my feelings. I think both of them are great cigars.
I'm not smoking right now, but somehow, like Christian propped my phone up behind an asylum.
Way to plug that one in.
So So I
feel
figured, like I'm not smoking, but it's in my hand. I'm chewing on it.
There you
A
go.
little Asylum 13 Corojo.
Awesome. Well,
If you saw the back of my phone, you would actually see the box sitting here.
that's funny.
I figured, well, fuck it. It's either this or the 770 that's underneath it. I'm not going to do that.
What's the what's the largest gauge that you smoked the largest gauge that you've smoked before, Pete?
Well,
Like,
I mean, like in general.
yeah, for not like non-experimental reasons, like you were seriously looking at a blend that large.
Oh well, I mean,
Because you got a couple
oh yeah,
60 gauges.
I smoke my 60 ring gauges all the time.
Right.
The Gran Habano and the Series A.
Hmm.
But back in the old days, everybody smoked a Chief, like Porzinio's Chief at one time, or an Aliados, 64 by what was that? The length on that, 18 inches or something like that.
Yeah, that was his chief. That was like 18
Yeah,
inches.
right.
Yeah.
18 by 64 or 18 by 66. A
That's
big
the one
ass cigar.
often.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
the last. That's the last cigar that I smoked that wasn't mine of a big ring gauge.
that was over 60 gauge. Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the largest in your portfolio, George, is what, 66?
70.
You have a set. Oh, that's
You
right.
do
You
a
have a set.
70.
You do a 70.
What's
Okay.
one in 70?
Started producing 70 back in 2005. Believe it or not.
Is that part of the Corojo #5 line?
Yeah, that's part of my regular line. We
Yeah,
started.
that's actually a great line, dude.
Escalated because I came out with 60s. Then everybody started making 60s, so I went to 66. Then everybody started making 66s or whatever. And then I went to 70, and at that point, Christian, I said, you know what, just you do it. I was like, I'm done.
Just
He's got like
it.
a 90 or something like that. I heard he's got like a bigger one now.
He's got 134 or something like that.
Well,
Yeah,
tell
it's
him
the
I got a what is it, 1930 ring gauge cigar?
yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
you
say
do.
that
Yeah.
you had that large the largest cigar there.
I got when he makes one that big, I'll bow to him.
You know what's so funny about that cigar that you made for the trade show? Like all of us walked by and said, "Man, that's a waste of good tobacco."
It was, it was. But you know what? Here's 20 year what like.
But it was a shock value. It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was different.
The fact that you build a rolling case for that damn thing was pretty impressive.
That was good. It was solid. That was pretty good.
Did anybody around you say, "What the fuck are you thinking"?
Nah,
No.
pretty like it's not a bad idea. We'll do it. We'll make it happen.
Whatever happened to that cigar, George?
Calls it
It's like I think it's in Africa or something like that.
Yeah. Steven Hernandez calls it what does he call it? The cocaine sub?
Wow. Well, guys, wanted to like we said, I know we only got a few minutes with y'all tonight, so wanted to talk about this again. I'm not to spend too much time on it, but it's really fantastic to have you both on after receiving the honor of top cigar of the year on my list for the last 2 years. And both of you had kind of similar reactions, albeit a little bit differently. I think you both were caught off a little off guard and a little surprised for maybe a little bit different reasons. You know, Pete, I think you were surprised. I think just that cigar was the one that I chose. But I'll let you elaborate on that and
Yeah.
that kind of initial reaction.
So you spend 4 years on putting a cigar together, and like I went through multiple iterations of that cigar before I put it out. And then, honestly, when it first came out, it didn't really have a great review in the sense of people weren't like going, "Oh shit, this is the next best thing." I liked it, but it had like a pocket of people that were really into it. So when I found out that you were really into it, I was like really thrilled by it. So then surprised by it. So it took me aback a little bit, going, "Oh, I didn't realize that people were that into it." I loved it, but it took a while for it to really pick up, and maybe because of your review and the rating, it actually it does really well now, thankfully. I think it's a new approach to the Verocú line, which ultimately, is pretty more powerful in the sense, but putting that Corojo on it kind of tones it down a lot. So it was a nice surprise.
Mhm. Yeah, it was a really, really unique take on it. I mean, I really like the originals as well and still smoke them regularly. Probably less since the blue came out. Just because I've really, really enjoyed it, that expression of that. George, similar to you, when you came, I mean, 20 years in the making, it's a milestone cigar for you. So speaking of milestones, but what was your reaction when you heard you did landed number one on my list?
Well, I mean, I was very surprised because, like Pete just said, I mean, it was a cigar that came out. It was late a year because of COVID. It was supposed to come out in 21. I think it came out, what, 22, 23, something like that. And it was a slow starter. It's doing really well. We're selling well. But I didn't, like Pete just said, I didn't know you liked it as much until you called me and you told me how good of a cigar was and that you're buying them. And I was like, whoa, I was very surprised by that. And just getting number one, I mean, I was just shocked. I mean, I don't look at reviews or ratings or anything like that, honestly. I don't research anything. So when I got one, it was very important because I feel that you have a pretty good palate and it's a little bit different. It's not like some of these other reviews that you get, uh, whatever rating, I made a list on someone that really understands what I'm doing. And that's what I appreciated. And I thought it kind of humbled me in essence because I respect what you do. So that's the way I felt about it. So it was pretty nice.
Well, that
Yeah, I actually, if I could jump in real quick, because I think George said it perfectly. Uh, we do this because we believe in the product, but sometimes we get caught off guard because someone that we didn't expect to really love it and
Yeah.
understand what we're doing to
Yeah.
go, oh shit, this really hit my palate right. And okay, it hits my palate perfectly fine. And it's kind of and I'm sure your cigar, George, is maybe a different expression from what you normally do. So it was
Correct.
kind of like, okay, finally someone understood what I'm doing, what I'm trying to, portray.
Yeah.
That's
I
really
know.
cool.
I mean, I'm starting to go in a little bit different way where I'm just gonna introduce cigars that I blend just for the size, and that's it.
Ah, yeah,
You, we try to create lines around making a cigar line with multiple
hmm
sizes, but the reality is that my approach is gonna be just to a size. So I'm
yeah,
just it's a brand with just one size, and I don't want to
yeah.
reduce LEs. I'm not an LE guy. I don't do limited editions. Each project takes years, and it's just kind of focus on that. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people don't hit right is that we're all trying to blend to one size. Like I'll do 46s,
Yeah.
but then I'm scaling it up to 50s, and I'm trying to. But sometimes blends work right in one size, and
Exactly.
but it should be. That's it.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, true.
Yeah, it's
I feel the same way.
it's it was interesting because I was gonna bring up how specifically like how like with the 20th George, I mean there were several sizes in that line, and I know how tough that project was because you had to. This was a milestone cigar, and you wanted to put it just right in every particular size, and there was only
yeah,
there
yeah.
was a couple of Atolas in the blue Pete too, so like it was you know I think you guys were just talking about it, with blending so specific to a size and everything, and with the amount of time and effort that you put into each in particular size. Why do you think more people don't take that approach, George, that you're shifting yourself to? And Pete, you've done the same thing too with just a lot of single size focusing.
I think for me, one of the reasons is that I'm kind of done my travel of understanding of the blending and where tobacco comes from, growing tobacco myself, and that kind of really understanding that I needed to focus on something more specific as I move forward with my blending projects. So that's just my approach to it. I mean, it's just a little bit different. Like I said, I'm still learning how to blend, how to do cigars, how to do things, and I'm still learning every day. So I think this
It,
just one of the things.
I agree with that. Like when I came out with the original Verocú and the red label, it was just the two sizes that you see in the blue. It was just the two sizes in the blue, and then we expanded it to a bigger line. I'm good, thank you. We expanded it to a bigger line, and I realized that no one really cared about the other sizes in the line, and maybe they didn't perform as well as those two original sizes. Everybody kept on going back to those two original sizes. Yeah, we have a couple others that do really well, and we're keeping them within the line. And the plan is to eventually expand the blue into those two sizes that do well. But it's not a guarantee. I think certain times you just realize that certain cigars just work way better in a certain format,
Mm-hmm.
and I would say it's hard because sometimes you get writer's block on the other sizes too.
Right.
Like there's moments where you think you're gonna have like, oh, it's gonna be easy. We can just put this line together and it's gonna be really easy, but ultimately those two sizes just perform best, and then you should have stopped there instead of trying to write a new hit when you already had it.
Yeah, I think forcing it sometimes, I think that's what causes some of those
Yeah,
issues as well. Yeah, we're trying
exactly.
to like hit everything. We're like a portfolio and brand space on a shelf and recognition of a brand because you want to be able to stand out in the humidor. And the reality is that I think the consumer, if they're educated enough, I think you have very educated consumers, Pete.
Yeah,
You got a lot of guys that really support your stuff, and I think people will find their way to the product. And the reality is that sometimes everybody's just forcing. I mean, I'm blending 50, 46s, 54s, and then you're trying to kind of compete in a market of 70s. I mean, for that, just create a 70 just for that market.
yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, and it's hard because creating blinds and brands is like, there's a whole process that goes into it, and there's a lot of cost to it. So you want to be proficient in making sure that it's profitable for the project to stand on its own. But the reality is, sometimes a blend just doesn't go farther than maybe a 54, and that's it. And that's
yeah,
the reality.
yeah.
Let it just be. I'm learning that you should just let it be. Maybe as I'm getting older, it's just kind of one of those like,
George, you just said it perfectly. The older I get, the more simplified I want my life to be.
Do you,
And there's like, I would I would love to go through my portfolio and cut a few things that I just don't smoke as much anymore. And it's really personal for me because I make all these cigars to smoke myself, but there's certain sizes maybe I don't smoke as much. So it's not at that point it becomes a widget, you know? And
yeah.
I don't want to sell a widget. I want people to like actually enjoy the product that I'm enjoying too.
so if you guys could go back to the beginning, George, I know you're next generation, but if you could go back to the beginning, say like 10, 15, 20 years ago, let's make it 20 because we're talking about milestones anyway. If you go back 20 years ago, like would you start simplified the way you guys want to today, or would that even be possible, or is the simplification possible because of what you guys have built as brands?
I think
No,
that's what you're saying. Go ahead, Peter, if you want to go.
no. Go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say is that I think the reason where we've been successful and we created brands and lines that have given us the opportunity to now explore. Would the brands have been successful? I think maybe yes, because it would have been something so different, and I think our products were very unique to come to the market around the same time. The
Yeah,
market was demanding, like Pete, kind of counterculture, something more underground. Me was more of a standalone brand that was a really good quality product that was below the price of what you should be expected to pay for that product.
yeah,
And So that's kind of what we were both hitting different markets, but at the end of the day, I think the problem lies in the fact that could we had made enough money to continue to make this going forward, and then now you're in the creative aspect of it, because you got to look at it. I always say as a business. Maybe now we're sitting in a position where we survived 25 years and we saw these people leave, come and go every year, and we kind of like, all right, now we made it to the next level or a few more levels up. But the reality is, I think it could have been successful, maybe more for Pete, because I think he had he has a very good marketing aspect of it, in my opinion, that was farther along when I first started compared to what I was doing. So I was more focused on the cigars than creating maybe an experience with the cultural aspect of it. Maybe if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
Pete. So that's the way I looked at it. But you go ahead if you want to cover something like that.
No, I think you touched on the when we were younger with the brands. I mean, again, I remember when you had the Corojo number 5. It's got to be over 20 years now, right?
Mhm.
1995.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's been around for fucking ever.
Yeah.
I mean, just the fact that those are legs, dude, that you can't cut out.
Yeah.
And I started with a very simplified brand, like with the brown label. That's if someone said, "Hey, you can't make brown label Miami anymore," I might as well stop making cigars completely, because that's the core and the base of everything for me. Like that's where I'm able to stand up. Um, but I think what you said perfectly is that if we had the ability to make really good money back then, we would have maybe changed our ways. But I think we both struggled for a long time to try to find our place in the industry.
Yeah.
Um, but now I think for me, and I'm sure you're getting the same way. It's more like passion project shit. I just really want to make cigars to make myself smile. That sounds kind of corny, but I want to. I don't like. I say this a lot. I don't want to make a cigar just as a widget. I don't want to just sell a cigar to sell a cigar. I want to make a cigar that has purpose behind it. So I'm very like standoffish when it comes to like, oh, you got to make it something new. You got to make something new. I'm like, okay, I have a lot of new shit in the pipeline, and there's always a lot of new shit that comes out throughout the year. But I also will sit on stuff for 2 3 years before I put it out, because I'm just not in a hurry. And that might be because the brand itself has, you got more legs on me than I do, like than Tatuaje does. But the brand for Tatuaje is 22 years old, going on 23 years old. So it's helpful to have that amount of years to actually kind of relax a little bit and not try to force it so much. And I think when you're younger, you try to force it because you want the notoriety. But I think the older I get, the less I want the notoriety. I just want to have a good cigar.
Yeah. I'm in agreement with that. I think really it comes down to really getting all this knowledge that we sort of gather along the way. And I think it's important because now we're really kind of focusing on what we need to really do to make a cigar on a project that's going to do well. I think my biggest issue is I don't come out with projects that often because of the fact that I'm my worst critic. So like, that whole cigar with the El Enemigo, I'm my enemigo. So that was the whole point of that, is like you're always I hate failure. So the fact that I would think that I would fail, for me, I don't care what anybody says. But for me, it's kind of like that would be really hurt me. So that's kind of like I'm always going over projects, and then I'm trying them 6 months later, and I was like, no, I could do this better, and then things change.
This is
So
funny because I actually had this pegged as a question later on, but I'll bring it up now. So have either of you, I'm sure this has happened a few times, but has there been a project that you've worked really hard on and ultimately dumped? Like, no, can't, nope, we're not doing it. We're not pushing it to market. That you've gone back and
Yeah.
wonder, well, wait a second. What if but it still isn't. It's still not it still never made it to market.
It's not really a what if. I think cigar makers have a luxury that, I mean, if you have a portfolio of tobacco and you're creating new blends and you're thinking, okay, this could be the next thing that we put out. There's some times where you start second guessing yourself. You start questioning whether or not, okay, I like it, but maybe no one else is going to actually enjoy it.
Is it going to be received?
This is such an offshoot to what we normally do, type of thing. And then you go, okay, I'm not going to put it out. I don't think there's any regrets that I don't put it out. It's really about feeling whole when you're putting out something. Yeah, you always second guess it. Like you, there's a lot of brands that have disappeared out of my portfolio that people loved, and people ask me like, what happened? I go, it just didn't work. I loved it, but at some point you just can't make it because it's not viable for the factory. It's not like, oh, here, make me $25 a year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you just kind of give up on it. It sucks, but I don't know. There's a lot of answers to that question, Bear.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think one of the best ones for that. I mean, as a business way, Jay Drew always told me, if a cigar doesn't sell 400,000 units a year, it's just not a brand. You shouldn't even keep making it. I mean, and JD was right. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, because there's so much logistics that goes behind making a cigar. So you have to have inventory. You have to have years of inventory. You have to have years of bands, boxes, projects, all these things. And if the project's just not working, I mean, you just can't. It's not viable. It's like what Pete just said. So it makes total sense.
Yeah, dude, I've given cigars to friends that they absolutely love the product. My brother and my buddies that work with me, they're like, this is going to be great, and then I'll sit there and second guess it till the end of dawn. I won't put it out. They're like, what happened? Even my brother-in-law is like, hey, you going to use that tobacco I put aside for you? I'm like, no, just put it into the mix. Like, I've already moved on. Like that project didn't work for me. That's ultimately what happened. It was like, it didn't work for me. So I can't get behind it in the way that I want to get behind it because it just didn't work for me. Like, if you really just want to sell a cigar because you think you're going to sell it, that's the wrong way to go about it. It has to work for you totally as a whole. And then you really can talk about it and promote it. And if it's not working, you just give up on it. It's better that way.
Yeah.
So George mentioned JD, Jonathan Drew, for those who didn't hear it the first time, but I've asked this question to both of you in particular because it was a really interesting influence on me as a cigar smoker, and also as someone who eventually pursued media in this industry. The infamous cigar press cover that you were both a part of, along with a group of others, Dion, John Huber, JD, and the two of you, and Matt Booth, of course. And
it's a great cover.
And Pete, I talked to George the last time he was on the show. We mentioned about how everyone is kind of taking their business to the next level. There's this interesting next step that every single one of you guys have taken, but it's interesting because it's all matched. It all matches your individual personalities too. Like, it's like not every single one of you, sold to a larger conglomerate like JD and Matt. The next level is like really in line with each of y'all's personalities, which is interesting. But looking back on that cover, I was in, um, you know, what does the journey mean to you all since that photo was taken, and those group of guys that all of you guys are very close. So what is that what does that mean now?
I still have those photos from that day in my phone, and I still have everybody's phone number in my phone. It becomes part of your DNA. It becomes part of your family. This industry is small, dude. I've been I mentioned to you earlier, I've been at a party today with a bunch of manufacturers and a bunch of the next generation of the kids that are going to take our jobs one day. And ultimately, it's getting noisy outside. Ultimately, it's just, that this is who we like being around. This is a small knit family. I mean, we can walk into a room and feel good about being in a room with each other. That's what's
Yeah.
great about, that group of people. I can still tell you that no matter what path each company took, whether JD sold to a big company and Matt sold out to a big company, we can still walk into a room with each other and actually shoot the shit like we're still at that photo shoot. That's what's best about it.
Yeah. No, I think so as well. I think it was very influential for me, mostly because I kind of looked up to everyone. I mean, for specific reasons. I honestly, Dion has, in my opinion, one of the greatest palettes ever. As well as, and that's kind of the reason why it's very coveted that I looked at some of these guys because I respect what they were doing with their cigars, and I smoked them and bought them. Pete, I've always respected the brown. The Miami stuff was always really tasty, and then when stuff started coming out of Nicaragua, that was always really good. So I mean, I think it was very influential to me because it kind of made me want to be as successful as what they were doing at the time. I think the biggest one of at that point in time, JD was the biggest one of the group.
Yeah.
And it kind of, and JD and I would hang out a lot at that period of time. I mean, we were going to hang out before Christmas this year, but I came to Colombia. But I mean, it's kind of one of those things that
He hit me up too.
oh, yeah, he was like, "Are you going to leave your beach house?" And I was like, "Yeah." We're trying to figure out when, so we couldn't get together because I think he was leaving out of town. But point being is that um, I really respected what each one was doing, what they were bringing to the industry, and the eventual change that they brought. And we changed the industry in ways that we
Yeah.
don't really
Yeah.
realize. I mean, Jonathan made counterculture and like it made it fun. You didn't have to wear a Guayabera. Pete kind of did the same thing. When I was a kid, everybody had a freaking straw hat and a suit and a Guayabera. Everybody's wearing. It's like that's how it started, right? So,
hmm
um, so it everyone brought something to the table that changed the industry that people don't realize that it was so subliminal. But at the end of the day, we changed the industry in a particular way. And I think we're the guys that are still around doing it. I know Matt's still involved, whether however he's doing it. We're still changing. I mean, I think realistically, everyone, and not to sound like, maybe I think I think people are still trying to do what we were doing, and we're still ahead of them.
I
hmm
Ways that.
completely I completely agree. Absolutely. The way you said it too is actually it's exactly how I would love to say it too. I just don't say it.
I mean, I got hit in the head last year. I don't. My wife says I become ruder.
No, I think there obviously have been some people that have come, tried, and failed. I mean, it's a hard industry. The age old joke about, if you want to make $1 million in this business, start with two and everything. So, but there is I guess a next generation coming. Pete, you mentioned that you're at a gathering right now with a few of those next generations. Um, you know, do you guys feel though, like overall, while you feel still like you guys are still learning and still doing, you're still very much, very, very much a part of the industry and
Ah,
its lifeline and its pulse. Do you feel the future is in really good hands though?
no, and George said it earlier. We're always learning. We're always learning. I think we joke with these kids all the time. Like, no matter how old we get, and even when we get put in the ground, we're going to come back out of the grave to make sure they don't fuck up the industry. I think there's a lot of good kids coming up in the industry. A lot of the family-owned companies have a lot of good kids, but we need to guide them on the right path, and make sure that they understand that that once we're gone, they need to continue to protect the industry as a whole. You know, you never know. Some of these families might end up selling out in the next generation. You have no idea, but you hope that if they stay as a family-owned company, they continue working together and supporting each other. And that was the whole point, I think, with this get-together.
Yeah, we've got a few more minutes, guys, before I need to let y'all go. But the last thing is to kind of roll into this next generation, but and something you two specifically, along with some of the other people we've mentioned tonight, have worked really tirelessly for the industry. And you both have two unique influences on bringing attention to the industry. You know, George, you were just elected to the PCOE board. Wanted to congratulate you for that. That was something I was really excited to see. You know,
Appreciate that.
and Pete, you know, the project that you've kind of been spearheading for a long time, with through the hand roll documentaries and everything as well too. And you know, you've always been a big voice for Cigar Rights of America and the PCA as well. So, and the
Board
industry
member,
as
yeah.
well. So, what with these responsibilities that you have, I mean, what is that, you know, how does that weight feel on, you know, how does that weight feel compared to the enormous challenge of creating these new products that we've been talking, you know, that we started the conversation with?
I'm going to say this out loud. I didn't know I was signing up for it. Like when you get into this industry, when you're younger, you love the industry. You want to do cool things. And then someone says, "Hey, by the way, we need you on a board to like sit in a room and give your opinion." I'm like, no one wants to hear my opinion. Like, no, like my opinion is not important. So you start to wonder, like, am I really that old? I mean, I just turned 55 years old. You know, like when people say, "Hey, you're needed on this board," I'm like, "Damn, I feel like I'm about to retire." I don't know. I think it's shocking to know that from where I came from to now that I didn't think my younger self would ever tell me, "Hey, one day someone's actually going to want your opinion for something."
Yeah,
That's fun.
Coop has put that moniker on you. It's been going on for a few years, Pete. That calling how you've kind of transitioned into this this statesman role. You know, and I think it fits. I think it fits in a lot of ways. You know, George, you really you sought a position on the board with
I
PCA.
did. I signed up for it.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
speaking of
that's
signing
awesome,
up for
George.
it,
I didn't know you got on the board. That's really cool that you're on there.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I
what
did. You know, I actually ran a whole mini campaign on it. I did a whole video on Instagram and everything. They liked me. It's kind of funny. I mean, I wanted it because I felt like I bitched too much. And so I felt like I if I'm gonna say something, I might as well be part of it. But at the
Mhm.
Yeah,
same time,
very
I
cool.
felt that we're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, but as an industry, we are something that, you know, there's a lot of states now, local cities, as an example, that are really going after what we enjoy to do.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And you know, it's a freedom that I enjoy. It's something that, of course, you know, I'm fourth generation farmer, and it's what's something that my family has always made a living out of. So in a way, I wanted to protect that, but you know, I really kind of look for it just because of the fact that if I was gonna bitch, I might as well do something about it, right?
yeah,
That's
very cool.
you know.
Good. I'll get you on the board of the CRA next. I actually thought I was going to retire from the board of the CRA, and they voted me back in.
I mean, look, you know, I think we bring in a different perspective than what a lot of people would expect. I mean, you know, we are still private small business, and what we do, our perspective, the way we're connected with our consumers, um, it's a
Yeah, I
different,
think
a totally different industry. I mean, I don't think Steve Jobs went somewhere and hung out with someone trying to sell an iPad and then talk to a consumer about it. They just brought it to market, and so this is what makes our industry special. And
Yeah.
so the fact that we're so close to the consumers, the fact that we could bring that information and really kind of give our advice on a board, I think that's important. And I mean, I just those are little things that I think that make an impact. So
Yeah, dude, I think our generation might have a little bit more angst also. So
Mm.
we're highly opinionated about stuff. Maybe we're not well spoken when it comes to things, but we're going to say an opinion. Um, hopefully someone that wants to, take it further will understand us. But I was surprised actually that I told the group, because I'm the youngest guy, actually not the youngest. Tony Gomez is the youngest now in the CRA. But I was surprised when someone actually said, "Hey, your opinion's needed." And I was like, "Man, the way I say shit is just like off the cuff. There's no formal way around it." Um, and they're like, "No, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like the point gets across." And I'm like, "Okay, as long as you let me be me, I'm good."
Well, I think that
That's
speaks
good.
to both of y'all's, history and past and the way that you two came up. There's, the quote unquote the right way of doing things, the wrong way of doing things, and you guys may have had different starting points, different paths, but nobody can say that you guys didn't do it the right way. And you have a
Yeah,
very, very healthy respect for all aspects of the industry. I've had numerous conversations with both of you, and there is a level of respect, understanding, commitment to every step of the process. It's not just, hey, here's my cigar and it's cool, or here's my cigar, here's the product, here's how it's blended. No, there's the it goes back to the seed for both of y'all. Even though you have two very different backgrounds and you went about things very
yeah.
differently, there's a level of commitment and respect that's interesting. I'll end with this, guys, because I know we're having a short evening tonight, but I really just wanted to say thank you very much for coming on and for ending the calendar year by joining me for this brief show, and just kind of wanted to just thank you both. And George, I think you hit on this and what you talked about, being close to the consumer. And I think that that's what I've really appreciated about the two of you all specifically, but since you're in front of me, but a lot of the people that you guys associate with and have or serve on boards with and everything like that. I think that that's what I truly appreciate about the two of y'all, is how that I take this very seriously when when the FDA threatened to take away something that I enjoy. And I was handing out petitions and I was signing people up for stuff. Like I was doing that as early as like 2010, even though I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But it was great to see over the last 15 years, two people like the two of y'all really, really step up and really put your money where your mouth is. This isn't just a job for you two. It's a livelihood. It's family, it's legacy, it's all of that. And there's a huge commitment on y'all's two part, and then of course all the other people that you serve with. So I just want to thank you for that, because I think it is very unique to the cigar industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think both of us, maybe we've gotten to a point in our life we want to leave something behind. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I mean, my whole job is legacy for my family and continuing what we're
Yeah.
doing. And hopefully, someone in my family could continue the work and expand on my portfolio of work. That's kind of like my goal.
Yeah.
And we'll see where that lies. But I appreciate you having me on. It's
Mhm.
great being on with you, Pete. I always looked up to you.
Always a pleasure, brother. Great
Pleasure, and
seeing you. I
and
see
Mayor,
you're wearing your
congratulations.
Colombian colors.
Yeah, hey, listen, I represent. So, happy 350th show. It's that's also to the fact that your commitment to your show and to what you're doing. So I appreciate that. It's very, very important that you
Thank you.
continue to do things like this. I think this is special, and thank you for having me on. So
Absolutely.
much.
Bear, 300, 350 Sundays.
Yeah,
350
That's
Sundays.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
that shows a commitment to the industry, and I thank you for that just alone.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
appreciate it.
it's an amazing feat, dude. That's a long running show, and this might be your shortest episode ever. But
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a throwback, man. I actually started with really short shows, and then it's kind of expanded from there and everything. But I think this being a shorter one is kind of plays homage to that, a little bit of a throwback to where it kind of started, and I think that's appropriate with
yeah,
you guys both on
awesome.
and everything. So for our audience, thanks for tuning in tonight. We really appreciate it. This was our 350th take, our last take of the year. We're going to be taking a little bit of a break, but we'll be coming back with the top 10 cigars of 2025, and we'll see whose cigars made the list on January 4th. I'll have George Brightman along with me once again, who
Beautiful.
I've already sent the cigars to him, blind
Nice.
testing. Removed all the labels, everything like that. So he's smoking them blind, giving his opinions of them, and
It won't work. He knows them all.
yeah, he guesses them pretty good. I know, yeah, but it's still kind of fun. It's a fun exercise, and we've got a little twist this year. We got a little curveball that we're going to be throwing on that for a show in late January, but we'll discuss that on January 4th with George Brightman. My top 10 cigars for 2025. Want to take a brief moment to thank our sponsors, of course. For another amazing year of partnership from George at Gran Habano Cigars, United Cigars, Drew Estate, Asylum, Postania, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, and Artista Cigars, our good friends over there as well for an amazing year. And of course, our good friends at Alec Bradley as well for putting together this wonderful studio that I get to call home. And like I said, every Sunday night. If you are tuning into us later, wherever you listen to podcasts, be sure to download, subscribe, and review, and leave constructive criticism. As we said, I've only done 350 of these, and nobody's perfect. So the guy who gave me a 1-star review and said my audio levels suck, hey, hopefully you can hear me now. That's great. And the guy who gave me a 1-star review left it blank, as I tell you every Sunday. Fuck you. I've got nothing for you, man. I can't fix that, but I can fix everything else. And we're just getting started. That's the way that I feel about this, and we're going to have more.
But you're a Red Sox guy, so that's all that matters.
Yes, that too. We'll have these gentlemen back on another time and place, but we'll let them have a wonderful Christmas, and we'll bid you all adieu. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of the audience of ELOSOFUMARTAKES. This is Barry Duplessis live from the Alec Bradley Lone Star Studio of Azle, Texas. He's Pete Johnson. He's George Rico, and guess what, everybody? We'll see you next time.
George, you owe me a text message.
Here.
Peace.